Hello everyone, welcome back to Shane Plays. Today I'm going to be doing a quick unboxing of the Battletech Beginner box. This is the recent version of Battletech that Catalyst Labs has started putting out. Used to be FASA way back in the day in the 80s, and I haven't played Battletech in any form since the 80s when it was, I played like Battlemech type games, computer games that they probably weren't Battletech, but they were inspired, you know, the giant mech combat thing. But as far as Battletech itself, I haven't played it since the 80s, and I thought it was pretty cool then. It was, kind of reminded me of the Starfleet battles, combat, crunchy combat kind of thing. Played it a few times back when it had the stand-up cardboard mechs, the hex map, I believe, and you had to deal with heat and all this other stuff. So this is the newest version of it. They're kind of making a big push for Battletech again. As you can see there, it comes with some minis and dice and other stuff in here. And it says it's going to have 2 high-quality, fully assembled but unpainted miniatures, an 18-inch by 22-inch full-color game map, double-sided, die-cut mech and terrain tokens, and a mech, apostrophe mech is short for Battlemech. Die-cut mech and terrain tokens, quick start rules, universe booklet, I guess it gives you a little bit of the lore of the universe. A 24-page fiction novella, looks like maybe it's Golden Rule is the name of the novella, perhaps. Record sheets, Mech Warrior cards, and 6-sided dice. So let's bust this open. It's not going to be a long video. Let's just bust this open. Take a look at what we got. I even left the shrink wrap on for you. So we got that because I know some people like to watch the shrink wrap come off. I get it. All right. Ooh, it's still nice and shiny with the shrink wrap off. I was actually hoping to play this earlier today. Buddy came over and we messed around with Star Wars Legion. We were about to bust into Battletech, and then he had to split. So I haven't had a chance to play this version, but I'm hoping to soon. By the way, it's nice art on the front there. I like that art. Mechs are cool. I'm a big fan of the mech. The whole mech combat thing. This big tank on legs. So let's see here. All right, so we got the lid off. And the first thing that came out was Battletech Golden Rule. It says a Colby's Commandos mission, Golden Rule by William H. Keith. So that's the novella. One rule to live by or to die by. So that's cool. I like stuff like this where it gives you, oh, that's interesting. It's Topps. It's Catalyst under license from Topps. So I guess Topps owns the Battletech IP right now. Game or something. But I like this. It gives you, I remember Elite, way back in the day, the computer game Elite came with a little fiction that you could read to get you excited about playing. I remember reading that in school, and I couldn't wait to get home or get over to my buddy's house and play. But it's a little novella, a little short story novella. Pretty neat. Okay, so let me put this off to the side. So there's that. And then when you open it up, put that back in there. For those of you that love this sort of thing, that's what it looks like on the inside. And then you take this out, and you get this. So there's how it's all set up in here. All right, so let's take a look. We've got the Battletech cards, your Battlemech character sheet, if you will. We'll look at that here in a second. Yeah, and I don't see anything on here on heat. So heat was something in Battletech used to, as you used weapons or whatever, you'd build up heat. So it was a way of, one reflecting that, hey, you're shooting all these huge guns from inside your basically walking tank. But two, it was a way of sort of, limiting how often you could use guns, or you'd have to take a turn and chill out or whatever to let some of the heat bleed off. Let's see here. I'm not these look like pilot cards. So where you have your mech here, you can have different pilots. And that's a lot like Star Wars X-Wing, where you've got, you know, like an X-Wing fighter, but then depending on who's actually in that fighter, you know, it can perform better or maybe even have different abilities. And of course, that costs different points, you know, if you're doing a point-based kind of thing. Got 2 6-sided dice. It's old school. Just a couple of 6-sided dice. Let's do it. Let's throw down. And we will look further at these here in a second. And then you've got the minis in here, which I think that's great. They come with these minis. I think that's really cool. So you get one. There's one of them. And then here's the second one. And they are not the same. They are different designs. They're similar, but not the same. Let me see if I can get my... There we go. I'm not sure which one is which. Try to figure that out here in a second. I just dropped one. Luckily, they're tough. Both in universe and out of universe. There's the plastic sheet to hold everything. Battletech Beginner Box Quick Start Rules. Looks like a quick reference there on the back of the Quick Start Rules. This is a fairly small rule book, so they're not trying to throw too much at you. Remember, this is a quick start. There is, looks like they're talking about beyond the quick start, some other products you can get. You've got Battletech, a Game of Armored Combat box, the Succession Wars technical readout, EPUB fiction, more novellas and maybe even full novels. I'm not sure. Very cool. Very cool indeed. It does have a thing in here in the basic role playing with multiple mechs. So I guess if people combined their basic rules or basic beginner box, then you could have multiple mechs without the full game. In fact, my friend, he brought over his beginner box and I had a beginner box. So we maybe would have done that. And then this is called an instant guide to the inner sphere. And so this helps you understand the lore behind Battletech. And that was one of the things that surprised me, talking about the different houses. And, you know, it's like, not exactly like Dune, but you have these different noble houses, if you will, competing for influence and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of the conflict comes from. And that was one of the things that surprised me soon after Battletech came out in the 80s, you know, just all the rich lore behind, you know, the different houses. I didn't need all that. I'm like, let's just put stuff on the map and fight. But for the people who are into that kind of thing, that was very cool. You know, they've had role-playing games and novel, all kinds of stuff based on that lore. And then you've got this advertisement here from Ironwind Metals for minis you can buy. Oh, and here we go. Okay, so this explains, I misunderstood why you could have multiple mechs out of the beginner box. And it also explains why some of the mechs, this mech didn't look like one of the minis. You get the stand-up that you can put in the cardboard base. Or let me get my stuff together in a little thing there. So you got some terrain stuff, looks like you can put on the map, and some mechs there that you can pop out. It looks to me like the mini that you get, that one and that one are the ones that you get the plastic minis for, like this. If I'm reading this right. I think so. Or if I'm understanding this right. Neat. I like it. So that's how you can have multiple mechs in the beginner box, which is cool because looking at the back of the box, I just assumed you had these two little plastic mechs and let's fight. So they're still keeping it sort of old school, so not everything has to be a more expensive mini. Groovy, baby. And then here's the map that you get, which this feels very old school. Just bumped the mic. Sorry about that. You get two maps here. One more desert. One a little bit more verdant, if you will, green. So there you go. That's everything that's in the box. Looking forward to checking this game out. So, I did say I would look at these real quick. So, how does this open? Ah, there we go. La 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 la. Put it out, put it out, put it out. Boom! You know you want to do that. So you get like the Locust. Gives you its mech data, its type, movement points, tonnage, weight class, its light, the hit locations. I guess when you roll a 2d6, where is it hit at? A little chart on there. And then it kind of looks like hit points by location on the mech, which is very similar to how I remember it. And then there's some information, background on the mech. And you get all of that. Here's a medium. This is one of the ones that I think that you get a mini for. This is a Griffin GRF-1N, and that's a medium mech. So it's got a lot more hit points within its various areas that can be hit. Information on it. So, and here's a heavy, the Thunderbolt TDR-5S. It's even beefier. So, I mean, you get enough mechs with this beginner box, you could play several combats. Definitely enough to let you know, do I like the game? And I think that's what a beginner box should be. This thing was only $20. I was very impressed with that. But at the same time, there's plenty. I mean, you could spend a day or a weekend or even longer with this many mechs doing combats. And I'm sure there's richer rules and stuff like that. But, you know, it should give you enough. A beginner box shouldn't be like something so scaled down that you have no idea what the real game is like. It should be enough. You invest a little bit of money, have some fun with it on its own merits, and then if you really liked it, then you go invest more money. And I think that's what a beginner box should be. And so there you go. So yeah, so here's a pilot card for Devon Coin. The rank is Mech Warrior. Affiliation is House Davian. Their unit, 4th Deneb Light Cavalry. Their battle mech is a Locust. And it gives their special abilities, which is Maneuvering Ace. A little bit of quote. There's a little bit of, quote on here. It says, he's a good kid and a better mech jock, especially for someone so green. Reminds me a little bit of myself at his age. So I wasn't quite so eager to die for the prince. So I'm assuming that's about Devon. And then on the back, there's Zen Zing. So there's one pilot for the mech, the Locust, and here's another pilot for the mech. And there's points. So Zen Zing costs 2. Devon Coin costs 3. Oh no, there's a couple of different. You see, there's that 3 and that 2 on there up at the top, and then on the other side there's a 2. So it's some sort of point thing, I assume, when you're building your team. So there you go. Very cool. I'd love to play this. I'd love to spend an afternoon or more blasting the crap out of somebody and having them blast the crap out of me with our mechs for the prince or the house, or just for the sheer the sheer fun of it, the sheer chaotic stuff go boom fun of it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time on Shane Plays.